I call this regular meeting of the City of Fall River Park Board to start Wednesday, November 3rd, 5:15 p.m. at 1 Government Center, Council Hearing Room. Reading of the open meeting law. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Roll call of commissioners.
Jeffrey Sawyer.
Amber Burns.
Joseph De Silva. Commissioner Farias, I believe, is running late, and Commissioner Rigo is going to be absent today. I also want to say who else is in attendance. That's sitting up here is John Perry, Director of Community Maintenance, and also Patty Aguiar is our recording secretary. Mrs. Smith is off today. And we wish Mrs. Smith some well wishes. All right, acceptance of the minutes from the October 6, 2021 meeting.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion to accept by Commissioner Sylvia, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Citizen input. We have a number of citizen inputs. First one, when I call you up, please come up, address your name, address, and what your topic is. There's going to be 15 minutes for citizen input. Everybody has 3 minutes. We have 9 people that are signed up. First one is Andrea Costa. Just sit down and just name your...
I brought you some berries.
Okay,
Take a
thank you. Thank you.
I have ginkgo biloba trees. Outside my house.
Can you just state your name and your address, please?
Andrea Costa, 102 Bush Street. I have ginkgo biloba trees outside my house. I'm allergic to them. I sent you the first round of pictures last week, and I sent you a whole slew of new ones today. I don't know if you guys got to see the mess. It's on the I sent it to the park board.
Okay.
But I have thousands of those in my yard, on the sidewalk, and I have to constantly rake. I'm allergic to them. I rash out. I would like them removed. It's also tearing up all the sidewalks. I sent you pictures of that as well. There's also 2 across the street from us. I sent you pictures of their sidewalk as well. If it gets on your car, you have to wash it off right away. It actually eats the paint. I can't open my windows because the smell is so bad. And you really have to look at the pictures I emailed you to understand how bad it is.
I believe you're item J on the...
Correct.
Of course, okay. All right, so we'll be taking this up with Mr. Perano later on in the agenda. You're welcome to stay, and if we have any questions and everything, we'll be taking up that topic.
I have to be up for 1 a.m. Do you know around how long it takes?
We have A, B, C, D, E. You're talking maybe an hour or so.
You take that out.
So they'll get back in touch with you. You can watch it at home. It's on Channel 18, correct?
Yeah, if I may.
Yep.
How many trees are you looking to have taken down?
I have 3 2 on my side, and there's 2 across the street.
Okay, so in the general scheme of things, when we look to take down a tree, if it's healthy, now your health concern is of utmost importance, but when we take down a healthy tree, we'd like to see if the resident that's requesting that would be willing to plant another tree somewhere else. So we'll work with you on that. Just want to make sure, in case you have to go, that I know that that's something you're willing to do.
I know
Okay.
that Bay Street has like all those trees, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, that was it. Thank you.
Okay,
you,
so
Ms. Perry.
I'll get an email, or,
Yeah, Mr. Perano will be reaching out to you.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2, Wendy Tanner, River Rocks.
I brought one of these for each of you so that way you can kind of have an understanding you know, why I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
Thank you. If you want to leave a couple more, there's another commissioner coming. Thank you. Just state your name and address and what you're here for.
My name is Wendy Tanner. My address is 560 Osborne Street, Apartment 3, Fall River, Mass. 02724. I currently run a group called River Rocks. I have had the opportunity to work with and partner with Viva Fall River. I'm a member of the Fall River Arts and Cultural Coalition, and what I would like to do is I would like to see peace pockets. What it normally says is kindness rocks, because that's what it is, but I have a coalition with the Fall River Prevention and Youth Violence. God, I think I just messed that up. I'm nervous. But I have a coalition with them with the peace pockets. I had spoken to the mayor at many community events. I've done over 20 this summer, just in July alone, and all free in my own pocket. And I had explained to him that I had wanted, since my childhood, I've always loved Kennedy Park, and so many kids go there to find our rocks. So what I would like to do is make a peace pocket. In that, I had looked up different things that would be the best for maintenance. A square one, from what I understand, would be the best because maintenance could get around it. I would be willing to maintain any peace pocket. I originally came here for all the parks. I know we got 26, but I said, you know what? I'll even go down to just one to let you guys see how it comes out. Because if there is one thing that I've learned from the FRAC board, is that we are lacking in the art display, the accessible art display. A garden like this, a peace pocket like this, if we let the residents paint the bricks or the wood, whatever we're going to use, and I will take on the cost, we would be allowed to have a beautiful accessible spot for people to go and see rock art, as well as maybe even put trees in this little area, flowers in this little area. So that way in the winter, when there may be no rocks there, maybe there's something else there, so it never loses its attraction. But that is what I am here for today. Like I said, I came for all 26 parks, but I'm willing to start with just Kennedy Park, because that is where I grew up and was raised, and that is one of the parks that most of the people in my group go to look for rocks, and a lot of these people get therapy out of it, mental health, recovery, everything. They tell me in my group how much it means to them. It's given them an outlet. So I really think this could be a great thing for the parks in the city, but I am willing to start with one just to show you what it would be like and whether or not you like it from there.
I have one question. Is this your artwork out here near the flagpoles with the big lettuce piece and?
The piece I did not do.
Okay.
We all collaborate together. I collaborate with Christian McCloskey, and that is part of one of my peace pockets that I'm in control of. However, there are other people, other rock groups that will come out and put rocks there and what have you. But this Saturday when we had the big Boo Bash here, I went out and I filled up the whole peace sign for him, so that way it was all with colorful rocks and the ones in the thing. And I know at one point someone had brought up about kids throwing rocks. And bottom line, I could go outside on the sidewalk, pick up an unpainted rock, and throw it. We have them in the city hall. We have them in the police department. Never have we had an issue.
Okay. And you also have right here near top of Columbia Street? Is that
Viva
yours?
Fall River, who I partner with, yes.
They look nice, and I don't have a problem. I believe your item is item G.
And I'm also okay with you deciding, because I don't know what's accessible in the park, because I know, like in Kennedy, we have the Holy Ghost sometimes, what have you. Whatever you decide, all I'm looking for is, like I said, at least one to start to show you what I can pull off with a beautiful art display that's accessible to everybody, and it doesn't matter where it is, but I would like to start at Kennedy.
Do you have a preference? I know.
Kennedy would be my
I'm
preference.
saying anywhere in Kevin.
No, actually, somebody gave me a great idea. Since we have the pavilion, and that's an overlook, and the bottom park at Kennedy is usually just left. Why not the bottom park at Kennedy, so when people look from the pavilion, they see it?
Okay. Any other commissioners?
How about, do you have any idea about a size?
That would be up to you. Whatever size you would choose and be comfortable with, I would go with that, because like I said, when it comes to maintenance and everything else, I don't understand all of that. I don't know what works better for the park board, so therefore that would be all based on you, and I would follow any guidelines that you gave me.
All right. Any other questions, Commissioners?
No, I think we did something like this at Maplewood already.
We do have one at Maplewood,
Okay, I
yes.
wanted to make sure that it was.
We
the
have
same.
over 20 actually, all over the city, but we've never been able to get into the park other than Maplewood, and I've always wanted Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Maplewood is going, well, because Christian came before us
Yeah.
sometime during the summer, so.
Yes.
We have it in one park and it's been doing well. So, I
Yes.
mean, I don't see why not another one.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're happy to stick around if we have any more questions on that? for you?
Absolutely will, and if
Yeah.
you'd like these extras for anybody else, I'll leave them.
Yeah, you can maybe leave one for the other commissioner and Mrs. Smith when she gets back.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Thank you.
Number 3, Jack Hackett. You have 3 minutes. State your name and address.
Jack Hackett, 750 Duval Street, Fall River, Mass. Here about the netting situation at the Jack Hackett softball field at Father Kelly Park. Just to give an update, first of all, I want to thank you for putting the league on the agenda. What happened, we appeared July 7th and we were told that a netting must go up at the softball field or the league was going to be shut down at August 30th. I came back in August and stated that we did purchase a netting for $1,600 and that we would look into getting it erected. And the league, the park board, extended our season, which we appreciate. What happened then is we got a hold of 5 or 6 companies. We were looking to move the backstop scoreboard, which weighs over 400 pounds, to take it down and use the 2 metal poles that were there to put out in the outfield. We called 6 companies. They wanted $5,000 to $6,000. No way we could afford that. Eventually, we found a company in Westport, Signature Signs, and the fella, all during his life, was involved with recreation, and he had strong feelings about what was happening to the league. And they decided that they would come down and move the scoreboard for us, and they did a great job. After the scoreboard was down, we're going to look to cut the metal poles and put an extension and move them out to the right field area for the netting. The owner of the company advised us not to use the metal poles because they've been up there since, I believe, 1967, and to put an extension, they wouldn't be worthy of serving the purpose of the netting. So then what happened is we had to look for a company that would erect the netting. Very expensive. We contacted 2 companies. The owners came down to the park. We explained that we need a netting in right field because of property damage. And we also needed one over to the right to protect the White House that was continuously getting hit over the years. As I explained to the park board when I appeared, that the teams do have property insurance and liability injury insurance, and the park board also has an insurance policy from the USA Softball Commissioner. What happened after the restriction we set up so we could continue playing ball, that if the ball was hit from the pole over in right field, the player would be out, and if it was hit again, he would be ejected. If the ball was hit foul towards the White House, he would be out and ejected. After I appeared at the park board, unbelievable, one of the players who had caused the previous damage hit the ball and broke a window frame in a window. The next day I was down the park, as I am every day, with my wife for 3 hours and another worker doing the field. The owner showed up with a bill of $179. The next day I gave him a money order and I paid the bill, and I took the bill and I submitted it to the insurance company and I got reimbursed. So that shows that we do have property damage, every team that plays at the softball field, the Jack Hackett softball field. Next, we met with the company. He came down, he explained about the netting, and he said, here's what I'm going to do, Jack. We're going to switch nettings. I'm going to put a golf netting up there, and we will take your netting at an even trade. with the golf netting, not even if somebody comes down during the off days and hits a golf ball, it will not go through the net and damage any property. That sounds pretty good.
Jack, I gotta stop you there. We'll call back to you and that, because I have to have everybody with 3 minutes. All right?
Can I come back?
Yes, you can come back up when your item's up.
I know it's a little late.
Yeah,
I know
no
it's a
problem.
little late.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Not a problem. Okay, number 4, Anna Proc. Just state your name and address for the record, and why you're here.
My name is Anna Prock. I'm the owner of 18 Saucier Street. I am here because I am so fed up with my house having siding, having windows, having shutters, just having everything broken. It's never been repaired. I'm sorry, there was only once that Mr. Hackett said, brought 2 guys to do a side on the siding. Right now, if you go by my house, you will see all the balls that have been hitting. Now, he said something about if a player hits the house, they're going to call it out. Who's going to repair that when he hit it? I mean, this is the question. It's not them hitting, or it's when they hit. Who is repairing all this? I've walked so many times down that park with all the guys cheering as a hero, my house being the bullet, okay? Being the red eye bullet there, because it was just, wow, they hit the house. I have replaced many, many, many windows, double pane, $70, $80 a shot, and nobody. Mr. Hackett would say, you have home insurance. Why should I pay my deductible on my fixing plus my insurance going up? I don't. I have many texts. The last time I texted, I'm so tired of this. I showed him a shutter broken. Oh, I didn't see who did it. What does that mean? I have texts between me and Mr. Hackett. It's been over 4. I'm tired of this. I'm a taxpayer. Okay? Now you guys need to do something about this. Revoke the license. Don't give them the license. Do something until the park is prepared for a ball game. Because I am tired. I am the White House with the black shutters. I am the hit. I'm tired of stuff. Bird bats, all that. And I have called many, many years until last year. I finally got somebody to contact me. That is awful. Okay, and that was Nancy Smith. And again, I met you the other day. Nothing has been repaired. I was not able to come to the last meeting. Mom has multiple myeloma. She just broke her femur bone. I have a lot to deal with. Okay, I just want to be fair here. Okay, I know the prestige having all these people coming from all over the place, not even residents of Fall River, playing in that park. And me, a taxpayer, I have to repair what they're doing for damage for years and years. Is that fair? I ask every single one of you. If you guys are homeowners, you wouldn't want that if that was your house. Am I right or wrong? I'm sorry, I feel this way because I'm fed up. Fed up. It's not 1 year, 2 years, many, 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 many years I've been dealing with this. Okay, and the BS that I go down there and there's nothing that can be done. It's my problem. No, I'm sorry. Thank you for your time, and I hope that today that I took the busy out of my schedule as a homeowner because I want something done. I want something that is right to be done. You know what? They shouldn't be playing until that park is the correct way for my house not to get hit again. Okay? There's tons of repairs to be done there. Okay? My car just got hit. You know what? I was out, maybe with Mom or whatever, when I noticed there's the ball right there on top of the roof of my car. When was it hit? I don't know. I go and get my mail out of the insert. I see another one broke. No more siding broken. When was it? I don't know. I don't want to hear it. I don't know who the player was. Okay, I'm tired. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5, Holly Raposo. Sorry. Just state your name and address and what you're here for.
Sure. My name is Holly Raposo. I'm the Dean of College and Career Readiness from the school from Argosy Collegiate on 240 Dover Street. We're just requesting to use the Quikasham Trail for a walk-a-thon. We're trying to start an annual walk-a-thon to benefit the school for fundraising. This is our first time at it, so we're kind of going through the motions. We have a certificate of insurance. We're getting detail from the Florida Police Department about, we have close to 600 students between the middle and the high school. We're looking to include everybody, but not obviously everybody is going to do that. So that's what we're looking for, approval. And next steps, we're hoping that maybe you guys could help with that.
What part of the trail are you looking to do?
We're starting to do the whole thing,
entire
so we would
so
start at the
Rodman
police
right to
station and do it twice.
Police station, okay.
Yeah, do it twice.
Would this be during the day, during the week, or during the week?
It would be on a Saturday.
Saturday?
Yep. And we are slated to hopefully do it on November 20th, if that's possible. I know that's a quick turnaround, but we wanted to do it before Thanksgiving because we're incorporating that in a food drive.
Yep.
And we'd love to do it, you know, our school is right on the
Yep.
Rodman side, so. I don't know if kind
Any
of
other questions
questions.
for Ms. Lewis?
No, is there information in here?
Yes.
It's in here?
She's
Okay. I will
item
H.
H.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay,
So you're welcome to stay when we get there.
sure.
Or
Thank
can,
you.
Or we'll get back in touch with you. Commissioner Farias is here now. We're just doing citizen input, so we haven't missed anything. Number 6, Michelle Burgos.
The other names are us.
Okay. Just state your name and what you're here for, and your addresses, please. State your name and address and,
Michelle Burgos, 372 Mulberry Street.
okay.
My name is Claudia Pina, 47 Manton Street, apartment number 2, Fall River, Massachusetts.
Clarissa Soto LeBoy, 157 County Street.
And you're here for?
We're here for the approval of the rename of Griffin Park,
The
With-
basketball court.
the basketball court,
Okay.
and as well as a monument, which I didn't include in the letter, but that's what we're looking for, because we want to memorize the life of Miguel Sanjuro, 14-year-old boy that.
That in Riverburg, that was my son.
Sorry about that.
So we put together a memorial committee with the help of Mark Conrad with the Corky Road Neighborhood Association. And so we want to plead with you guys today that to let this happen, because this is gonna bring light, this is gonna shed light on the tragic event of Miguel Sanjuro, who was shot and killed at Griffin Park. The rename is not just going to be to honor his life, but it's also going to be to bring awareness to the end of gun violence. So we will never forget. So this won't be yesterday's news as time passed, and it's just our innocent, our youth. Playgrounds should be a safe haven for our youth. A community, we should come together and bring that love and support that is so much needed at this grieving time.
Do you have any questions or concerns, Commissioner? I know all we do is recommend. The city council is the only ones that have approval to rename anything. And I know Griffin Park, are you talking about the whole park or?
No,
opposite?
just the basketball
Because
court.
Griffin Park is named after a veteran.
Oh, we know.
That's
Yeah.
touching
We know
boys
that.
right there.
No,
That's
we're,
why we
Okay.
wanted to
Okay.
rename the basketball court, because that's the last thing that he was doing before he passed away.
Okay. All right. If we have any more questions or concerns, we'll take you up. You're on
Item F.
item F. Yes. Okay, so if you want to stick around, we'll be taking that up and discussion that on item F when we get that up.
okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, that was everybody. Everybody's on there.
Michelle,
I'm gonna
Mr.
also-
Chairman, we have one.
Yeah, we have
Yes,
to read
that's
it.
what I'm gonna do right now. Yeah. And I have Commissioner Burns read, we had a letter come in for citizen input, and I'm going to have Commissioner Burns read that into the record.
So we got an email from Arminda Cunha on October 25th at 3:31 p.m. I called and was told to write as well. Your Joe Silva dog park needs an overhaul or needs to be shut down. The fence between the small dogs and the bigger dogs is not deep enough, and it lets smaller dogs get over to the other side. There should be signs everywhere that a dog who is aggressive should be taken out of the park immediately. I was there on Sunday, October 17th from 2 to 3 p.m. Not many people were there except a group of people huddling together. One of their dogs was a German Shepherd. It attacked my dog, and the owner did nothing and wasn't apologetic when I told her that she was not to bring her dog to the park if he was aggressive, and she went into attack mode and started hurling insults at me, and I was holding my dog as I was holding my dog to walk to the car. Her and her friends continued to follow me, threatening to attack me, yelling at me, and calling names. I have been to many dog parks. I'm not a resident of Fall River, and I was here from out of town. I was in fear for my life, and I was in disbelief, and I drove down the street and called 911. The operator was very rude and cut me off. Did not send an officer to my location after saying he would. I called back. He told me that he had sent animal control that never came as well. I gave up and went back home. I spoke to animal control. The person that answered the phone said she got no call and she was on duty that day. I still have to find time to go to the police department to file a report against the 911 responder. I need you to look into this because if there is next time someone's dog is going to get severely hurt or is the owner well, someone might be killed. This is not a regular park, but a place where you think you're taking your dog to have a pleasant time. Instead, you have bullies that are aggressive dogs that are hanging around with no respect for no one else. I am perplexed and will follow up on this matter. Sincerely, Arminda Silva.
All right. So I know that's just citizen input. We're going to put that. We'll put that for our records.
Do we even have say over dog parks?
We do. The dog park is under our jurisdiction. Okay. But it's not an item on the agenda, so we cannot be discussing that today. So what we're going to do is put that on the next agenda to discuss, because there's other stuff that I had Mr. Perry and Ms. Smith. Somebody had brought lawn chairs there, and some of them were broken in that, and they don't belong to our property, so I had them remove them. We're talking about putting some benches up there and that, and some improvements to that park later in. Okay. But we'll put that on a future agenda item, and we'll discuss other issues in that with the dog park at a later time. Thank you. At this time, I close citizen input. Commissioner Farias is here. I'm going to have everyone please rise and have Commissioner Farias do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, new business. Item A, Bill Kennedy to address the board for Kennedy Park Landing Project. In case anybody doesn't know, Bill Kennedy is the city planner.
You took the words out of my mouth. I'm Bill Kenny, I'm the city planner. And thank you for having me in here tonight. You have this under new business, but in a sense it's kind of old business. This has to do with the possibility of doing some improvements at the Kennedy Park Overlook, which is the very bottom of Kennedy Park, west of Bay Street and bounded on the other side by the Taunton River. And when I say this is old business in a sense, that's because this goes back to about June of 2016 when the Community Preservation Committee gave an award of $150,000 for the purpose of creating a concept plan to revitalize that section of the park. And what happened after that was that Brown, Richardson, and Rowe, which is one of the premier landscape architects firms in New England, put together a tentative concept plan, which I believe Mr. Perry distributed to each of you. It looks like this, and I think I had given Nancy a black and white copy of it earlier, which I think she distributed to you folks before the meeting. That was intended as not the final plan by any means, but as a general idea to show what they conceived of as a possible renovation of this area. That was back in 2016. Due to staffing changes over a period of time, the planning department really never took any further action on this, and now that I've returned to the position as city planner, I thought it was time that we either spent that $150,000 or gave it back. And if it were up to me, I'd rather spend it, because I think you've got a real opportunity to improve this area and be a great addition to the park system and addition to Kennedy Park. The scuttlebutt that I'm told, and I was not left with many detailed notes about the history of this since 2016, but what I gather and what I'm told is that when the board at that time looked at this proposal, their initial reaction was favorable, but they thought there was not enough parking provided for. So what I wanted to get your blessing for would be perhaps to go back to Brown, Richardson, and Rowe and have them actually move forward to reconfigure this plan, maybe to add some parking if that's what you're interested in, and to come back with a plan that could move towards construction level drawings so that we could actually build this project. And this is a great time to do this because of the funds that are becoming available under the ARPA program. And there is a section of the ARPA legislation that's focused on public open spaces such as this, parks and plazas. And there are literally millions and millions of dollars available to do a project like this. When Brown, Richardson, and Rowe did this preliminary sketch, they also did an estimate of costs as to what it might take to actually build it. And keep in mind, this is back in 2016, so inflation has taken its toll. But it was around $1.9 million to build the whole project out. And we'd like to get some of that for you through ARPA. And all you have to do is give us the green light to go back to Brown, Richardson, and Rowe, ask them to tweak this plan, bring it back to you for approval, and then go forward to submit a formal application for some money to build this.
Any questions, concerns, commissioners? I know this was, I was watching that meeting back then and was asking Ms. Smith about this and that. I think the plan looks good in it. It's just maybe where that parking area is, that green bushery. Is there any way maybe we can add some parking to that area?
I won't speak for the landscape architects, but as a lay person, I would say there's probably room there for parking.
Yeah.
And this is a big piece of land.
Yeah.
There's certainly an opportunity to add some additional parking spaces. You know, without really detracting from the scheme that they have in mind.
The roadway right there, Club Street.
Yes.
Is there a room for maybe putting parking on that street? Like at least one side of it, or no?
Well, part of it is a bridge over the railroad tracks, and I think that's probably not a spot that would be good for parking. Mm-hmm. They might be able to widen the street, you know, part of it after it comes across the tracks, okay, and put some, I guess that would be like parallel parking, mm-hmm, along part of it. That might work. And as you said, that planting slope shown next to the parking on the plan now, that's an opportunity maybe to have some parking. Okay. They're pretty ingenious designers. I'm sure they can do something to, okay, I think there are 10 spots there. I think they could easily come up with another 5, maybe even on the other side of the project, the southerly side, there might be some opportunity. But what I'd like to do is just ask them to take a peek and see what they can do and recommend it to you. And then if you're happy, let's go full steam ahead and have final plans put together before they spend all the money on things like water and sewer. We don't want that to happen. Right?
Before the bridge on Club Street.
Yes.
That is park land on both sides of the street.
Correct.
Is that right, Jim?
Like
That is correct.
west of Bay Street.
That is correct. Yeah.
So maybe some parking can go there, a small lot.
So you might park and then like
And
walk over the
people
bridge?
may choose to walk over the...
I'm all for encouraging people to walk. You know, that's a good thing. John, do you know if on that side there's
So,
spots where they could put some parking?
To answer that question about Club Street, when you do come around that bend, there is parking allowed on the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small club there, the King Philip Yacht Club, that's
Yep.
there. When they have some of their functions, you will see cars parked there. It does make the street a little tight for the folks coming out of the condo complex or coming in. So I think if this project was to come to fruition, you're gonna see a lot more foot traffic there, you're gonna see a lot more people. I think the parking area that Mr. Kenny said where, you know, the greenery is, if we could remove some of that and add parking there, that way the visitors to this project can park off the street and just go from their car right to one of the trails and get to the water. As far as below Club Street, I think if we can look, you know, with Brown, Richardson, and Rowe at increasing the number of parking spots we have where the parking is existing in the plan, I think that's the way we really want to go. Otherwise, we're going to have to kind of cultivate that area as you come up Club Street. There's no access as far as a driveway. It's all grass slope right now. We don't have a softball league there anymore, but I'm not sure we want to turn some of that into a paved parking area. I think there's more than ample space, as Mr. Kenny said, either on the south side or up in that area, like you said, Mr. Chair, where we can add enough parking spots to make this feasible. So that would be my opinion.
Yeah, so you're suggesting keep the parking on the river side of the tracks?
Correct. People visiting this project will be able to pull in, park their car, get out, get onto one of the paths, and stay within that area as opposed to having them walk on the street, over the bridge, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And with Club Street, if you start, I know you were talking about, there's some places that you could put parking, but I don't want to make it a fire hazard either.
Right.
That we can't get apparatus down to that condo association down there.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't do anything to block that.
Yeah.
We might even just run it past the
Well,
fire
I'm saying I
department
don't
to
want
make
the road
sure.
getting narrow
Right,
either.
right, exactly, yeah. So I don't often get an opportunity to spend any money, so I hope you let me spend this.
All in favor, or
I make a motion
Making a
to,
motion?
send back to
Brown, Richards,
Brown,
and Rowe?
Ridge, and Rowe.
I second that.
Commissioner Burns made the motion to send back to the landscape designers, to come back with a better plan. Commissioner Farris seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks very much, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny.
Thank you.
Item B, Jack Hackett.
First of all, I'd like to give a rebuttal to Anna, who was up here complaining about
Wait,
property.
can we not do that? Okay.
Oh, I can't do that?
Address
Sorry,
what
yeah.
you're here for.
Well, no.
Oh,
And
well, this has
Can
to
we
do
not
with
even
it.
do that?
No.
Because, so I'm gonna take over, so I apologize. So
Commissioner Burns.
we understand everything that's going on between you, what's happening at the ball field, what her concerns are. We're not gonna go back and forth, because it's just not
Okay,
going to,
all right.
it's just not gonna be beneficial to anyone.
Okay.
So.
I'd just like to finish about the netting.
Mr.
then.
Hackett,
unfortunately-
Mr. Hackett, let Commissioner
Commissioner
Burns
Burns
speak,
speak.
okay?
I understand that you want to go back, but we understand that you tried to go through and get the net, and you're working as hard as you can to get that. You don't have to go, you don't have to continue. We just want to get to the point at this point. So I have some questions. So I know that I had made the motion that the league could not continue after August if the net was not up. Unfortunately, I was not able to be present at the meeting that was extended. You just said before that somebody gave you a bill, you gave them the money, you went to your insurance and you were reimbursed. So at what point and why, over the last 4 years, has none of her stuff been addressed?
First of all, in 2020, the house was hit. We had a white cedar house, and we went up and we repaired it ourselves. We tried to buy the white cedar to match the house, and we couldn't find it. So she said we could take it off the garage, and we took it, and one of my managers repaired it. This year, on the damage, nobody contacted me. Eventually, I found out that the house was hit. I was very angry at the umpire who did the game, because I always told them if there's any damage, please tell me who did it, and then I will follow up on it. That did not happen this year twice, okay? I've been there over 50 years, and I always try and keep peace with the neighbors, and if there was any damage, I always took care of it. Anna did not approach me this year with a bill. Also, there was another house that's hit, and the owner never got back to me. As I said, I'm always down the park, and I would have followed up with the property insurance on it.
Okay.
So I just want Anna to know I did not hit the bill, and I'm doing the best I can to keep peace between the league and the neighbors.
Okay. So, all right, so that being said, I have been a homeowner. If my house continually gets hit, I think that it is the umpire, whoever's at the games, whatever it is their responsibility. If you're not going to be there, you have to put somebody in charge that is going to be in charge if these things happen. For the fact that she has this much damage, and she's saying to this day, she still has things at her house that are broken, and you are in knowledge of that something needs to be addressed, whether it's through your own insurance or the people in your league. If you have people in your league that are hitting houses, even if they're out, like she said, I hit the ball, it hits the house, or I'm automatically out. Like she said, they're out, but that's not gonna fix her house.
Oh, I understand that.
So at some point, I think that you need to look at the people that you're even allowing in these leagues, because if they're going to get this insurance, they hit a house, they know they hit a house, and they're not gonna say anything, that's not fair to her, and it also is making your league look bad, because now we're all here.
I understand that.
So now I'm going to ask, where are you at, like, with the net? What
Okay,
stage?
what happened is we got in touch with two companies, and the fella came down to the park, and we showed him the situation of the right field, we need netting, and we wanted netting to protect the house.
Yes.
He explained everything. It would be two phases. Phase one right field would cost us $14,000, and phase two in front of the White House would cost $8,000. The total bill would be $22,000. There is no way that the league can afford it, and I can't afford it. What we were going to do, if we had to get the wooden poles, we were figuring I would throw in $1,000, and two of my other officers would throw in $1,000, but $3,000 is nowhere near $22,000. So what I am planning to do, as you all know, I'm going to the CPA to upgrade the lighting at Father Kelly Park, and I'm putting in for a grant of $400,000. And I would like to incorporate the netting costs into that for $22,000, because when I got in touch with the three companies, all of the companies, I did add a contingency fee because we know that construction prices do go up. And I feel that if the CPA committee allows it, maybe we can get the lighting in there plus the netting paid for, because there's no way we could come up with $22,000 in the league. So we will be getting our information into the CPA committee next week on the submission part of it, why we feel we need those lights upgraded, and also we will, the price that the companies were involved with, and we incorporated hoping they would accept the netting for us. We understand that we could also possibly put that in there, and the CPA committee would help us. And that would be great for Jack Hackett softball field, because we all know that there are 4 poles that are rotted that have to come down, and we know we need the netting up there. And this would greatly help us. I got a hold of Bob Fernandez, the line construction company, on the netting, and I asked him if he could please hold off, and he would deal with us if we can get the CPA loan, and he is willing to do that without raising the price.
Okay.
So I would think that would be great. It would help us, the lighting and the netting, and just doing the best I can to improve the conditions. I do understand and the situation, what you said about the house and the property. No doubt about it, and that's why we made sure we got property insurance. And Anna's house did get hit this year, and I didn't find out until maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, but I was never given a bill.
Okay.
And so that's where we stand on everything, okay?
Okay. So then for the CPA funds, when would you, I don't know what the time frame is on that.
I believe the CPA awards there in January. That's when you apply.
What happened is...
That's not when the funds are awarded, though.
The park board, and you gave us permission to go forward, and we did appear in front of the committee. You have a member here that's on the CPA, and they did accept our eligibility form. We are now in the process of we're all set to go, actually. We got the submission part of it, and we got the financial part of it. And next week, I am going to drop the booklets off to Sandy Dennis, and she will get them out to the CPA committee, so they'll have time to look it over and so forth, because I believe
January.
everything has to be in by January the 15th.
So it needs to be in by January. Do you know how long it takes
Do you
for
know-
them to?
Victor? When do you guys award these?
We award them just before, I think, I don't know if it is.
I think in the spring, correct?
Springtime.
Spring.
So essentially, this would not be, even if you got the
No.
money,
Yeah.
it would not be ready
Correct.
before your league is
Right.
going
No.
to start.
We understand the money will be sometime in August of next
Correct.
year, so
Next
the
year.
park
They were
board
approved in the
would
spring,
have to
given
decide,
in August.
what are you going to do with our league in the meantime?
Well,
We understand that, so.
Okay, I think honestly, besides all of this, I think at some point, the two of you need to get together and you need to figure out.
That never worked.
Well, but what I'm saying is.
For 40 years, it's never worked.
Okay.
Because I've walked down many, many, many times, spoke with Mr. Hackett, because I know Mr. Hackett was my teacher. We go back many years. But with the balls, I have gone down there, and what he tells me at the beginning was, you have home insurance. And I said, yes, I do. What has that got to do with it?
Okay.
He says, well, submit it there, okay? How many times have I replaced, I had my windows boarded up with plywood for him to give me. So now, I had 3 of them at one time on the first floor. I never received any monies for
Okay.
that.
All right, so,
You know, so I am so tired of this. Now, like he said, siding, it's been there for years. So now, I have, in the front of the house, I probably have about 8, like, different holes in it. Okay, so you're gonna take the siding 2 pieces, you're gonna take another siding 2 pieces, another siding 2 pieces. Now you're having a whole bunch of different colors in this house.
okay.
That's not fair for me either.
Okay.
The side is the same thing.
Okay. Miss Burns, Commissioner
I'm just
Burns.
trying to figure, it's okay,
okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how you can get your house fixed and you can still have your league. So that's the part where I don't know what the solution is, because realistically, in my head, I would say, I would go to a company as the homeowner, show them everything that's wrong, get a quote, and submit it to Mr. Hackett. Say, this is the bill that it's going to take to fix my house. And at that point, you would go to your insurance company and say, hey, this is what's happening, this is what I need, can we please get this fixed?
I
And then we
agree,
would go
but
from
she
there.
didn't approach me with a bill.
No, I'm saying
know,
from
okay,
today, that is
okay.
what should happen.
So, excuse me, so what happens next summer again? So
Well, we
get
haven't
that
gotten there
done.
yet, we haven't gotten there yet, because I don't know. I don't have an answer for that,
What
I'm not gonna
happens
lie.
next summer? There we are again, the same thing.
My concerns is, there's no guaranteed that you're gonna get CPA funding.
I
That's not
understand that.
guaranteed.
I
So now we're
understand.
gonna have a whole nother, one second, we're gonna have a whole nother season going on. You know, this is not, and like you said, a foul, it's an out. Doesn't stop the ball from hitting the house.
I understand that, Tom.
Joseph.
I just want to say that we've
My
been there.
name's not Tom, my name's Joseph.
I'm sorry, Joe. We've been here 58 years, and I believe last night I heard Mayor Paul Coogan say, if you have something to be proud of in the city, don't knock it down or destroy it. Add to it and rebuild it. And this is an adult league that's been there for 58 seasons. We've had women's league, co-ed league, senior league over 40, and we have from 60 to 65, 18 to 65 playing ball there. This is the only adult recreational softball league in the city of Fall River, and it's the biggest league in this area.
But Jack, we wouldn't be in this position had these
I know
things
that.
been resolved in the time that they happened. We wouldn't even know about this. If every single time it got hit, it was handled properly, it would never have been brought across to us, but now we're here. So I'm just trying to figure out, does anyone have any suggestions on what we do for next season?
Commissioner Sylvia.
I'm a little confused about your insurance. In the past, you've told us, board, that each individual team has insurance.
Yes.
Are you affiliated, is the league affiliated with a softball organization, USSSA, ASA, or?
Yeah, we are
Something like that?
registered with the USA Softball of Massachusetts.
And you're unable to get league insurance from that
And
organization?
every team has property and liability insurance. So if I was a player and I hit the ball and broke the pitcher's nose and I didn't have coverage medical, I have insurance. And I stated that earlier, that this house window was broken. And I know it was a pain to go through the
My question
insurance
is
company.
not
It was
whether
paid.
each team has insurance.
Yes.
My question is, does the league, through U.S. softball or whatever you're under, provide insurance? Like Little League Baseball, each league has to get insurance, either through Little League Baseball or they have to provide Little League Baseball with a certificate of insurance if they go out and get it somewhere else.
We have it, Jeff.
The league.
We have it, Jeff, and the city also has it.
So how come the
insurance.
league's insurance is not covering this?
She never gave me a bill.
Okay, what about in the past though? When she did
The
give
past
you-
has always been covered. You never had another neighbor up here complain. All the years I've been involved, I've always paid it.
But Jack, you just said you hit somebody else's house, but they haven't complained yet. You just said that. You said this summer you hit
Oh,
somebody
yeah, yeah,
else's house, but no one's complained,
I'm
so you
talking
haven't
in the
done
past
anything.
now.
I'm
He's
gonna-
bringing up in the past.
I'm gonna say, I went there and met Miss Prague when I seen the damages and everything. And just by me being there 10 minutes, there was 3 neighbors that live up the street and that have nothing but complaints about your league. That the guys are disrespectful, they're urinating, everything out there. The same stuff is still happening. So obviously you're not, and maybe your guys are not policing your league right. It's a city park, yeah. You said that the city has insurance. The city's not responsible for your damages.
No, my teams have property insurance.
I
If I'm
understand that,
giving
but
a
we're not
bill-
responsible for your damages.
If I'm giving a bill, I give it to the manager, he
Jack-
goes through the insurance company, you don't pay the bill.
Mr.
John.
Hackett, so to your point, you know, having something long-standing in the city that's been successful is something to be proud of. But in those 58 years, how many years have you been required to have insurance? A lot of them, correct? Okay. If I'm driving my vehicle and I'm in a parking lot and I back into somebody else's car, nobody sees it, nobody's gonna know I did it, but does that mean I should just drive away? No, I should make an effort to let that person know that this property damage was caused, this is how you can get a hold of me, I have insurance, and we will repair the damage. Just because somebody doesn't come to you, you realize during the game that something hit a house, something was damaged. The onus becomes on the league and you yourself to make the outreach, to
I see
reach
your
out to
point.
the homeowner,
Yes.
knock on the door, leave a card on the door. There are plenty of instances as a city department head where somebody in my department might cause some sort of property damage, something happens. I show up to the homeowner's house. If they're not home, I'll leave a card with my number and ask them to give me a call back. So just saying that somebody didn't come and bring you a bill doesn't.
I see your point.
Okay, okay. So you need to be more proactive and you need to make sure. Now, the homeowner can bring you a bill. I would suggest you do what Commissioner Burns, exactly what she said. You get a contractor, you have them give you a quote on what it would cost to repair all of those damages, and you get that to Mr. Hackett. If you would like myself to be the go-between, if you would like to get that to me at DCM, and I can get it to Mr. Hackett, and then he can pay it, so that way there's no strife or argument. Mr.
No, there's-
Hackett, Mr. Hackett.
Ann has my number, I would go and pick it up. There's no hard
All right,
feelings.
time out. Mr. Hackett, listen, this is an ongoing
Okay.
theme when you're here. Somebody is speaking, you're speaking over them. I understand, you both have each other's contact information, but if there is that much contentiousness between the two, I am willing to be a go-between. But these things have to happen. If you keep coming here and you keep telling this board that, you know, nobody came and brought me a bill, or, you know, my team has insurance, so they're supposed to cover it, or we don't know which guy hit the house, you realize what those sound like, right? Those sound like just excuses. I think you, following through with what this board wants, in essence, repairing the damage to not just Ms. Park's house, but any other house that might have been damaged, is gonna go a long way to showing them goodwill that you wanna do this. Now, that's one part. The other part is CPA funds, and I get, this project suggested price is a big number, but you have also came here before us and said, how many members do you have? How many members in your league?
Teams,
Teams and members? How many teams?
21,
21 teams.
maybe
Pro-
300-400 players.
400 players that are paying X amount per player. Okay, over the course of 58 years, yes, when you started 58 years ago, it was $100 to play. Now it's $800 to play, or $1,000, or whatever you charge. So in essence, you're building a league that's been long-standing and should have financial ability to cover something like this. Now, I get, maybe it'll drain your whole thing. But after all of the issues that have arisen in the last year, I think it's a hard ask to ask the board to say, well, wait 6 more months until we figure out if we get approval. Then we'll get the money in August, and we'll have the project finished by next November. We're a whole nother year off. So now it's been 2 years, and no net is up, nothing's happened. I think the board's been very gracious with the situation. So that's my 2 cents. I really am getting, it's getting old hearing that, you know, each team has its own insurance and nobody came to me. We know when we cause property damage. We know in this particular case, the house is right there. You see it every day when you go to the park. We know that the damage caused. We know it was caused by one of my teams. If that team and/or that player isn't going to step up, then I think at that point the league has to. That's my opinion.
I know you have.
It's up to the chair if he wants to let you speak.
Yep. Go ahead, Ms.
Can
Brown.
I just say one thing?
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
I understand all this, that this is just not last year, it's going back many, many years, back and forth. Now, the last text I did to Jack was last year, when the shutter, it probably did a couple days before I even noticed it. Every little hole I don't notice every day because it's here and there and everywhere. I sent the picture and I said to him, what are we going to do about this? I just noticed it. Went to the mailbox, I just noticed it. You know what his answer was? I have it right here. I don't know who did it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying.
So if you heard what I said, I mentioned that piece, okay? So we're not going to accept that, well, we just don't know. But again, we don't want to keep going over the same ground. We get your understanding, we understand where he's at.
It's been years now.
No, I get it, and we're
enough.
trying to help you fix that, so.
I know you're frustrated. I want to hear from some of your other members of your league. You guys are officials, right?
Yes, I am.
In your league, I'm sure in the 300 or 400 players, you guys must have contractors that play in that league, right?
So I think you should have.
Contractors
Joe,
that.
Chair, Mr. Chair, I think you should have him come down and state
Come
his
on up.
name.
Can you guys come up here and state your name and address?
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely. Just state your name and address for us.
Sit down, state your name and address.
My name is David Patel.
Yep.
I'm an umpire at Father Kelly.
Yep.
And high school.
Yep.
I do all over.
Yep.
You name it, I umpire.
Yep.
And I work on the field every day. Every morning I'm there, do the field, right, to help Jack Hackett out and his wife. I'm there every morning for about 2 or 3 hours a day. I will say this. I've never seen Mr. Hackett deny anything. They come down to the field, like in 2 houses at right field, they come down. While I'm umpiring, I take a name, they hit the house, and I say, okay, I'll turn it to Mr. Hackett, I'll turn it to Jack. They say, thanks, no problem. Matter of fact, they come right to the backstop and give me their name, right? I've never seen this lady come down and say it to me. And I've done over 200 games, and I've never seen it. Because I am the umpire that probably does the most games. I understand there's got to be a solution. There's got to be a solution. I mean, there is a lot of people that use this field for recreation. We keep a lot of people off the streets. Kids that are 25, 30 years old that to be out getting in trouble, and they're there playing at night. It is a big thing. It really is. I've never seen Mr. Hackett turn back anybody. That's my opinion. I mean, that's what I've seen when I've been there for 7 years. That's all I got to say.
I'm going to show you.
Joey, it's not.
I know, but I just want to show them
I
that.
feel like we're just going in circles at this point. Like
These are all the damages to her house. You know, and this is not just one ball did this. This is over and over. So obviously the league's not policing right in that. And like she said, she has an elderly mother in that. Maybe she can't be going down there every minute in that. You guys know if you see a ball hit the house.
Exactly.
You're watching the ball.
Exactly.
So that's up to you guys to make a note, go knock on their door and say, hey, it just hit the house and that. That's not up to her. It's not up to her. So like I said, do you guys have contractors that might be able to help him with this work?
No.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that.
You know, maybe there's some fundraising that you can do or something over the winter and that, because right now you're obviously not going to be playing softball during the winter.
We could never come up with $22,000. Last year, John Perry wanted to know where all the money for the league goes, and I did a pamphlet, and I went to his office, and I gave him everything, and I said, John, any questions? Whatever I collect for the season is gone at the end. We used it all for all the work we have to do, umpires, balls, field work, and so forth. And I gave it to John, he looked it over, and I said, any questions, I'll come in, and everything was okay with John. He saw that everything was on the up and up. You know, the leagues pay about $1,600 to play their season, but we do the field, we bring in clay, I pay the workers, we pay the electricity, the balls, and the umpires. So we break even every year. There's not probably a $10 balance to keep the league open. And over the years, we paid the electricity for 7 years, which is $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, I'm doing the best I can in running the league.
Sir,
Go ahead.
I contacted 10 companies to put up that net all over the area, even in Brockton. So one guy in Brockton told me to go to Signature Signs of Westport. I went to him. He was an umpire, the umpire of New Bedford and some in Fall River. But they came down, they took the sign down, did it for nothing. And then my idea was to put the 2 metal poles out in right field and erect the net with a cable and the whole deal. But then the engineers said that wouldn't work because we need it done properly. You know, of course, for the park board to okay it and everything.
All right.
So that's where we're at.
Joey, I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion that we table this because this is literally going nowhere. We've been talking about this for 35 minutes at this point. And we have to come up with some sort of a solution to figure out what we're gonna do for next season, because it's very evident that we don't have any ideas, and you guys are saying you can't come up with the funds, so I feel like we should table this until.
Can I just make one suggestion? Would it be acceptable if we went to a wooden bat league?
Where the ball can't be.
The ball would not travel that much.
Commissioner Burns made a motion to table. I believe once
Yes,
you make a
okay.
motion to table, no whole discussion after that. You have to take a roll call vote on that, and
Commissioner Birds made the motion to table this matter. Second by Commissioner Farias.
Take a vote.
Take a vote. Commissioner Burns.
Yes.
Commissioner Farias.
Yes.
Commissioner Sylvia.
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva, yes. Now, in the meantime,
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John.
we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Be in
Thank
touch.
you, guys.
Joe has your information, correct? Okay.
Nancy has her
I'm gonna
information.
say yes. Please make sure that you, I don't know what her name is. I
Ms.
can't
Prock? Ms. Prock?
Ms. Brock.
Can you please make sure that you contact a company and get that quote and send it over to?
Thank you.
How about when the siding's not matching?
Well, we'll deal with that. The item's
Just
been.
get an estimate.
Yeah, just get an estimate and let
Yep.
us know what that is, okay? Thank you.
Yep. Item C.
Joe, do you possibly want to take out of
Yeah,
order?
we'll take, do I have a permission to take,
Is
item F out of order?
Motion to waive the rules.
Okay,
Take item F.
out of order, do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Sylvia made the motion to take item F out of order. Commissioner Burns seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item F, request to name basketball court at Griffin Park, Fort Street. Let's get to item F. Go ahead, Jeff.
I just have one question, for the lady regarding this. You said you didn't put it in your letter, but you also wanna put some type of monument, like a stone, or, do you have any dimensions on how big that, you're planning on making that?
We will be willing to work with you guys as far as the guidelines goes, because we have no idea what we can and cannot have there.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
I know because the park and other public, buildings and things like that has to go through the city council.
That's correct.
Does the basketball court within the park have to go through that?
It would, anything like that
Anything
that we
being
would
named.
rename would have to eventually get council approval. I believe, Commissioner, just on full disclosure, I believe there's another request to rename that court at this time with the administration. So, I'm not sure if we could offer up another avenue, let's say a monument in the park along with a bench, a little sitting area or something along those lines to still honor his memory, but not necessarily the basketball court. So I'm not sure if that's acceptable or not.
Yeah, and when
I understand that the park, the administration may have already had plans with things that they want to do with the park. Now, we're not exactly sure what is allowed and what is not allowed, or what are the guidelines with incorporating certain things in the park. And the park isn't just because, he passed away there and that's where he was murdered there and that we just want to put that there. It's for the other children to spread awareness, to remind them of what happened, because the sad truth is that it took for that little boy to be murdered in that park for police to start patrolling the park. Several weeks after that boy was murdered, that park was empty. Parents were afraid to send their kids to the park, even though their house was facing the park. No one felt safe even walking with their children in that park, and no one should have to feel like that. Parks and schools, they were always known to be a safe place for your children. And on that day, it wasn't. And even now, walking past that park, where it's supposed to be something bright, it's something dark and gloomy. And we don't want people to feel scared to go back into Griffin Park. We don't want it to be something dark and gloomy. So that's our purpose for wanting to do this.
Okay.
Shedding light on what happened.
It could be a plaque behind we could put benches and a plaque behind the benches.
So you would be open to
Yeah,
another alternative?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're
All right,
okay
so
with
maybe a
another
motion
alternative as
to
long
work
as
with the
we can do
administration,
something,
figure out what we can do?
Make a motion to work with the administration and to accommodate some type of memorial within Griffin Park in the area, maybe near the basketball court.
Yeah.
Very good.
And if the administration decides that they don't want to do what they're talking about, I have no idea what it is at this time.
No, I don't think the administration, just to be clear, the administration doesn't have an issue with it being at Griffin Park whatsoever. They just have another request, I believe, to rename the basketball court.
Well, I'm saying
already.
if they decide that they're not gonna rename it something else, then maybe we can revisit it before the bench or memorial goes in.
So the motion would be to work with the administration to determine what kind of memorial we could put here in honor of, I'm sorry, Miguel San Giorgio. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So,
As well as, I'm sorry, because this was like a beautiful idea that came from his mom.
yeah, of course.
You see how the fences are all black?
Yes.
She wanted to make them orange to create awareness.
Okay.
And make
because it stands for no gun violence.
Okay, so we can make that part of the discussion with the administration when we're working on this plan to see what the end product will be. We can include that as part of the conversation, okay?
Awesome.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I second the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Sylvia made the motion to work with the administration and come up with a plan of what they want to do for a memorial there. Commissioner Burns seconded it, and we're also talking about gun awareness with the fencing and everything. That'll all be discussed at a future date. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
So sorry for your loss, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion that these ladies have been sitting there
Yep, that's right.
patiently.
That's item.
We take their item out of order.
Actually,
Waive the rules.
I was gonna say.
Actually, if you can, give
Charter
me one
school.
second. Actually, if we can do items G and H out of order, they're both here.
I would make a motion to waive
Oh,
the
I'm
rules.
sorry, forgot about.
Yep, not a problem. And we'll call up item, we have a motion to take item G and H out of order.
I make a motion to waive the rules.
Second.
And then we'll have, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sorry about that. Item G is going to be a request from Wendy Tanner, request for Kindness Rock Garden.
I make a motion to accept.
Motion to accept, but do we want any recommendations or anything?
I mean,
Do we want to, she said Kennedy, but do we want to
I make
state an area?
I think that what we should do is
Work.
work
She can work with Ms.
Ms.
Smith and
Smith,
myself to
yeah.
determine where it would go and the size, and you're open to different ideas.
Whatever is okay with
Okay.
you, just to have it there,
Okay.
because it will be a display of art.
So if the board chose to accept that request, then we'll work with that group
I
to.
make a motion to accept and have her work with
Mrs. Smith.
Mrs. Smith and
And
Mr. Perry.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Burns made that motion, Commissioner Sylvia seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All set.
Thank you so
You're
much for
welcome,
your
they'll
time.
be in touch with you.
Good night, guys.
Item H, request from the Argosy School, the use of the Shan River Trail for, I believe it was November 20th? All in favor, do I have a motion to accept this?
I make a motion to accept.
And do I,
Second it?
any questions first? Commissioner Sylvia? I see you scratching your head.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually,
21st.
yeah, I was gonna say, this is, go ahead, sorry.
I being a fundraiser,
Mm-hmm.
I just have the question, is the school a 501(c)(3)?
Okay.
We require leagues that use our property to raise funds to turn a copy of that in
Okay.
to the park office.
Okay.
If you can simply do that, I don't have a
Just
problem
send
with
like
it.
a PDF, is that okay, to the email that I sent before?
And I only bring it up because, like I said, we make other leagues do it, and the little leagues and what have you. So, if you're a 501(c)(3) and you have a copy of that, I'll support this if we can get a copy of their 501(c)(3).
Also, is this on Saturday, the 20th, or Sunday, the 21st?
So Saturday, the 20th, the raid date would be the 21st.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, so
so
it is,
Saturday.
yeah, so can you, can
Give me-
you make a
give me-
note of that, because this letter says the 21st?
I think probably sometime after that, when we were looking at different dates. we
Oh, yeah, no,
should-
it's totally
Okay.
fine.
Okay, and what was the dates?
Saturday,
20th.
November 20th.
Give me 1 second, please.
And the
I'll
rain
do
date?
something quick.
The 21st?
21st.
I got an email yesterday, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, no, never mind. I just wanted to check, one of the, Britland Park, the football clubs, I guess they worked it out between Florida League, and they emailed us to see if there was gonna be a problem. Florida Youth Soccer doesn't have a thing, and Florida Club Soccer wants to use the field under 7. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna be a conflict.
I make a motion to grant permission as long as the school goes by our 501(c)(3) rules. Ms. Smith in the park office can let you know how that works, and it's basically a copy, and
Okay.
Can I just amend that motion quick?
Sure.
Can we have everything forwarded to Mr. Perry? Mrs. Smith is out, I'm not sure if she's gonna be back before the 20th.
Thank you.
So then, you'll be in limbo. If you can, please, reach out to Mr. Perry.
Absolutely.
Great.
If you go on the city's website, you'll be able to find my.
I'll amend that motion to include Mr. Perry in
You need
that.
me.
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, Commissioner Burns seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
will hit no houses. We will not have to- I'm sorry, I,
had
a
to-
lot of things going on up here, I've
Had
never
to
been
go.
to
I hope not, if you do, you're gonna have to come back.
Thank you,
Pulling
thank
enough
you.
fouls on me.
Thank you,
I remember
thank
you
you.
from CYL.
No, that had to be somebody else.
I believe it. I believe it.
No, I think it might have been my brother.
Might have been his evil twin.
And you laugh, I do have an evil twin.
Oh, my God.
Does have a
Called me out plenty of times too. Both these,
No, I don't believe that, Mr. Oh, no, you, I believe.
both these,
All right, let's go back to item C. Complaint of Maplewood Park, Stafford Road graffiti and dog waste. I can speak on this to you commissioners. Ms. Smith reached out to me when we did this. Our park guys have addressed all these items. They did remove the bicycle that was there, was down in the gully. The graffiti's been painted over, and a dog waste dispenser with a sign has been erected between the Patriot Park and the new park on the walkway, so everything's been, all the concerns have been addressed.
I make a motion to place on file then?
Yep.
Second.
Commissioner Birds made the motion to place on file, seconded by Commissioner Sylvia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item D, request from Jennifer Lopes, park and city-owned skate parks. So, as you guys can see, we got a complaint about the skate parks, graffiti, damages, the upkeep. I don't know what you guys want to do with this.
Mr. Chairman,
It's just-
can I make a statement?
Go ahead, Mr. Silva. Commissioner Silva.
I've been on this board a long time. In various parks, we did put in skate parks, tried to maintain them over the years. Of course, like everything else, funds are cut and things happen and, sometimes things fall by the wayside. Through the chair to Mr. Perry, would something like this come under ARPA money? I know Mr. Kenny mentioned things about parks.
Yeah, so where Mr. Kenny's ARPA statement comes in is tourism, that tourism piece to it. I think if we were to construct a grander skate park that would draw people to the city, I think it would fall under ARPA. But I could certainly research that for you with the powers that be, Mrs. Sahadi, and those who are the experts on the ARPA funds, and get an answer for you. I don't want to give you an answer either way and then just lead you in the wrong direction, but I can confirm either way. I believe something like this may be a little bit challenging to get by.
I mean, I agree with some of the statements in here. I disagree with some of them also, but, could you do that? And
I could.
because if that's a way we can maybe repair some of these or replace them, I think a skate park, is right. It's a different sport. I consider it a sport. I mean, I wouldn't be out there doing it, but, for obvious
I'd love to
reasons.
see that.
So,
You're not.
motion to table this.
But, it's like every other sport we have, football, soccer, whatever, baseball. Everybody wants to do their own thing, and if we've provided this in the past, if we can obviously find a fund somewhere, whether it's through ARPA or some other means to, at least repair some of them.
Sure.
At minimum, I'd be all for that.
Any other questions?
No.
I'll make a motion to,
Before you, I want to speak on this.
okay.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
it's an idea. I've heard some of the city councils mentioned it and everything. Obviously, our fields that have named people like Griffin Park or something like that, it's named. But some of our fields, our courts and everything.
Sure.
Maybe it's a fundraising effort or something. Is there a way that maybe we can reach out to like the Nikes or the skating communities and everything? Maybe Tony Hawk or something, go after a grant or something? And see if we can reach out and see if is they're willing, there's other leagues, there's Nike and everything that do replenishing of ball fields and everything. Maybe we have them do naming rights or grants or any opportunities.
So that wouldn't be something normally the city would solicit from a company like that. I mean, we certainly could look at doing something like that, but normally a process like you're explaining would come from the individual. So the individual who put in the letter about the skate parks, or an organization, a nonprofit or a profit, would come to the city with a presentation and say, we're partnering with Nike or we're partnering with Reebok and we want to redo the skate parks, and it would come in that form. But there's nothing, as far as I understand, an ordinance that prevents us from trying to reach out to some sponsors to say, hey, can we do this? So if you'd like, we could draft some sort of letter from the board, reaching out to these companies and seeing if they'd be willing to interact with us on trying to refurbish these parks.
I would like to see if maybe we can
Sure.
have was it Jane? The
Jane
grant writer or
DiBiasio,
something,
yeah,
see if
see if
there's any
there's some
grant
grant funds.
opportunities or funds or something out
Certainly.
there. in national funds or something to
Yep.
see if we can do stuff, not just the skate parks, any of our parks, basketball courts or anything.
Okay,
Gatorade, Nike, Under Armour, anybody.
certainly.
Okay.
We can
Any
do
little
that.
bit, any little bit helps, and if it gets national, same thing with our soccer fields and at the turf or anything. If we-
Okay. Yeah, we can reach out. I can reach out to Ms. DiBiasio, and I can reach out, I can have a conversation with Mrs. Sahadi to see if it's ARPA eligible and/or if there are any grants for this type of repair. Certainly.
Do I have a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to, place that on file, I guess, till we get that information available to
Or
us.
just, or is that, would we just table it at that point?
Yeah, I would say
Table.
table
Table,
that,
fine.
yeah, and then I'll come back with some more information. We'll
We don't have to have a motion on that, do we?
No.
Okay. So, motion to table from Commissioner Sylvia, tabled, second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Yes, sir.
All right. Item E, it's just, we have a letter, dear Ms. Smith, I'm writing to express, my sincere gratitude to you and the Park Board Commissioners and the City Parks Department for their cooperation and dedicated work on the occasion of our annual procession in Mass for Peace held on Monday, October 11th, 2021. After having a canceled last year procession, it was especially meaningful to myself and to the faithful of the diocese to be able to gather together again for this very special annual event. With every prayerful good wishes, I remain. Sincerely, yours in Christ, Monsignor Reverend Egya DeCunha, Bishop of Fall River. Which is a thank you letter.
Motion to place on file.
Yep. Place on file, Commissioner Sylvia made the motion, second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we already did item F, G, and H. Item I, request the use of soccer field from Front Street for a fundraiser.
So this is gonna be for, a fundraiser for a little boy who has a brain tumor in Fall River. They would not be a 501c3, it would very much be a community event of people just trying to raise money, with the soccer tournament. So unless anyone else has any other questions.
No.
Go ahead,
I make,
Commissioner Burns.
I make a motion to accept, but then also send them an email with whatever it is that they would need for this event, whether it's a certificate of insurance, anything additional, let them know so that I can go through on the day that they're, or actually, does it even mention a day?
It just says
For a
spring.
day in the spring. Okay,
I also, can I amend your motion?
yeah,
That we, I know we charge $150.
Waive that
I
motion.
request a fee to let that go towards the cause.
okay.
Okay, and I'll make sure that either myself or Ms. Smith sends them the packet that we normally send to any other organization who's having a function in the park, so they know what there is expected, okay?
Perfect. So motion to accept and waive the fees.
Second.
Commissioner Burns made the motion to approve this request and waive park fees rental fee. Commissioner Farias seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Mr. Pirano.
Did you want the bag?
I think he's
Yeah,
seen
why
my-
did none of us get it?
He's seen my face. He was
At
like,
first I thought she was trying to like see if we wanted to taste them, and then you smelled them. I'm like, I'm good. I was very confused.
It's-
I've been down there.
These are berries that are growing on
Oh, the tree?
the tree. And you want to smell?
No.
So the tree certainly does have a very distinct
Smell.
aroma. They are healthy trees. They were assessed by our arborist in 2019 as in good condition. Primary maintenance needed is trimming. That trimming was completed on those trees. So I think typically the recommendation would be not to remove, but considering the species of tree producing a very pungent berry, then maybe we should look at accommodating the removal request, but making it very clear that it is because of the smell rather than the fruit, because if we just start removing trees because of fruit production, we'll be removing a bunch of oak trees and
I'll add to
everything else.
that, not only because of the fruit, but because of the specific residents allergic
That's what I was
nature
just
to
gonna say.
that particular tree that's right outside their
Mhm.
residence. And I would also say, if anybody was gonna make a motion, I would suggest that if you're going to accept, or, you know, give us the order to take those trees down, that we work with Ms. Costa, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Andrea, Ms. Costa,
To replace-
to replace those trees, whether it be in that particular area, or whether she would like to donate a couple of trees to the city that we can plant elsewhere. That is what I like to do, that's what I try to make sure everybody does. If they
Mhm.
wanna take down a healthy tree, they replace it with a new one somewhere.
I would comment that, you know, if we could work with Mr. Perry's sidewalk crews to leave some tree boxes there and plant some
there.
more appropriate trees in front of the property.
Let's make sure we get her out.
The trees front on Emery, and they're the only trees on the street, so it would be nice to
You wanna get a list of her allergies before we go ahead and do
Sure.
that?
Mr. Perry.
I'm not, I was more giving him a hard time than Ms. Costa.
I make a motion.
One second. You're gonna be able to use the same area? You have to stump
Yeah, we
right
would
now
remove,
and
we
dig it all
remove
out?
the trees and the stumps,
Yeah.
and we could replant right in the same area, as long as we're able to work around any sidewalk repairs to accommodate ADA.
I'm just
And
saying-
I believe we had just gotten a grant to do stump removal and tree replanting, so maybe it can be a cost-sharing effort with the homeowner.
I'm just saying, is like, by digging it all out, will the new tree survive?
We'll put
Being
new
there with that?
soil. They put
Yes.
new soil,
Okay.
and yeah, we
Yeah.
make sure, yeah. The arborist.
make sure you're not, like-
Yeah, the roots go down about 18 inches, and with our
Like
stump
to a
grinder, we
hybrid
can remove all of them, and it won't be an issue.
All right.
I make a motion to remove those bad boys.
Okay,
With-
and repair, and replace them?
Yeah.
And replace
And work
them,
with the
yes.
homeowners to replace them?
Yes.
Okay.
And that it is only because of the smell and not because of the cleanup.
Just one question.
And with her allergies?
Yes.
Just one question. How bad is the sidewalk?
The sidewalks do have some damage around the tree bases there.
Something that Mr. Perry's department can,
Yeah, if we were gonna plant a tree or remove a tree where the sidewalks were busted up, we already have a program in place where we replace those squares around it. I mean, obviously, we can't spread down the entire street. Some
Yeah.
streets, if you replace 2 or 3 squares, you could go on forever. But we do repair that general area, so if it's 2, 3, 4 squares in and around that tree, we'll replace those.
thank you.
One question before we make any motions. Ms. Perry, your crew, if we take these trees down, are they gonna be able to do this works?
Won't be next day, but yeah.
No, I'm saying this season.
As long as it doesn't, as long as we don't have temperatures below freezing. we
That's
can
what I'm
stay
asking,
like
'cause
that.
I know,
Around
like, you're starting to get to the cold
40 to-
months.
Yeah, 40 degrees, 45 degrees. We're still in the 50s. We're still doing concrete work, and, you know, last year we had a mild winter. Hopefully that trend continues, and we can continue doing sidewalks right into December or toward the end, so, yeah, we'll be able to do that. And if we did pull the trees and the season came on us and we couldn't redo the sidewalks, we'll fill them with temporarily with asphalt, and then we'll take that out in the spring and plant the tree.
Okay. All right, so do I have a motion?
I make a motion to remove based off of the smell and her allergies, and we will replace with newer trees with working with the homeowner.
Second that.
Okay, Commissioner Burns made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That was item J. Item K is request for information, proposed price increase for cemetery department.
All right, so the worksheet in front of you is 2 different charts. The first chart is our current pricing. The second is proposed increases to the pricing. And the count and burial counts there are solely reflective of our expansion area. So you'll see a number of different price increases for the various types of lots within Oak Grove Cemetery. The last time prices were updated was 2016, so it's been over 5 years since prices were changed. We're currently at the level, our current pricing is pretty competitive with other municipalities. The new proposed pricing would still keep us under the costs of local private cemeteries in Fall River. And I would think that they might be changing prices in the near future as well. I don't know for sure, but I know that their pricing has been pretty consistent for a number of years. So I don't know if you have any questions about specific proposals. The main goal here is to make sure that the perpetual care accounts for Oak Grove Cemetery have sufficient money to maintain it and keep it in operation for as long as possible moving forward into the future.
And I'll piggyback on that with Chris as well. Just so the board keeps in mind that this is our last opportunity to make sure that we maximize, and I don't mean to say that in a sense where we're profiting from tragedy, but the reality is there are only so many spaces left at Oak Grove Cemetery. That cemetery will need to be maintained going forward forever. So the funds that we can accumulate in perpetual care are very important to making sure that in the future we can maintain that area and keep it the way it's supposed to be. Okay.
Chris, I don't know if you have this.
Commissioner Sylvia.
You said we're lower than the other the private cemeteries.
Yes.
Do you know how much lower in comparison?
Currently, we're about $1,000 per grave cheaper. We're going to get a lot closer with our new proposed pricing, but I do think that they're going to be making some adjustments. I know that the Catholic cemeteries in particular have been doing some work. Notre Dame just cleared a bunch of land, and I'm sure they need to make sure that their funds are substantial as well.
Now, is this just?
This is a proposal. These
so
are
we can't-
proposals,
we
so
can't
if the
vote on
board
this.
chose and you'd like to take this information, ponder over it a little bit, you know, kind of look into some of the other pricing. Chris can, Mr. Pirano can get you guys some of those prices from those other cemeteries so you can compare, and then we can come back to the board for approval. We'd be fine with that. I will say the project's moving into its next phase, so we will be done soon. And if we want to start to pre-sell, we need to have these prices in order. So right now, we're not pre-selling in the new area, but we're going to want to do that soon.
And I do have a list already of people calling who are very interested in purchasing lots in Oak Grove. I think I've got about 10
Right, so I would
names and
say
phone numbers.
no later than the next meeting, if this board could be prepared to vote on this.
If we vote to accept this and go to different prices, it still has to go before city council, right?
Still has to go before ordinance committee, yes, to change those prices. So that's another part of the process
So
that will
that's
have to
gonna
take its
prolong it
course.
even further.
Exactly, so.
If my colleagues are acceptable, I'll make a motion to accept this proposal and move it forward.
Yeah, I second that. The
We can
increases are
do
not.
Yeah, I was gonna say as well, we were, you know, real conservative with these. I think we could have went more, but then I think that really would have kind of put a burden on some of the people who need to pay it.
Another thing I'd like to mention too is we're nearing the end of the digitization and cemetery management software program finally. And one of the features of that software programming allows us to do payment plans for pre-purchases. So if that is something the board would like to entertain to help residents of Fall River kind of pay this over time, that would be something we would have the capability of doing once that software has been delivered to us.
Nice.
Excellent.
So,
Are you gonna present us with a plan for that?
If it's something the board would like to entertain, I can certainly put together a proposal on that front, yes.
I think it's. a
Sorry,
payment-
for what, Commissioner?
The payment plan?
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea, especially we've paid all that money for that program. If it has those capabilities, we should be using it.
Absolutely.
We paid for it, so, and I think, as Chris said, It's gonna help the citizens of the city who wanna buy lots there to pay it over time instead of coming up with,
Agreed.
large sums of money. So I would certainly be in favor if, you could put something together, some kind of information for us.
Absolutely.
I'll make that as part of the motion also.
Okay, yeah, so the motion was to approve the price changes and that, and to send it to the council for approval for the ordinance. And also, to add in the payment, features, to give them, options of, doing a payment plan for these lots.
We should probably also come up with an effective date. My recommendation would be the start of next calendar year. That would give us time to get it through the city council, as well as at least notify local funeral homes, so they can work with their families.
So you're talking for January 1st, or you're talking for Memorial Day?
Yeah, so.
No, I would say I think we
I
can.
think if the board approves that proposal tonight, those prices, as far as the board goes, is approved. That's where our numbers are gonna be. Then we'll have to work to push it through ordinance out. We'll fight to get an ordinance committee meeting before the first of the year. Otherwise, we can't change it until it goes through ordinance. So we'd have to go through ordinance first, so. Even if the board said the first of the year, these prices are what are gonna be current, we still have to get it through ordinance. So I'd say, we can't charge or pre-sell anything until we get those through.
I second the motion.
Okay, second the motion. Commissioner Sylvia made that motion. Commissioner Burns seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You said aye, Commissioner Farris, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you didn't, you supposed to.
I didn't have all this thing. I was up all night.
All righty, oops.
Now, the biggest agenda item,
You got one more.
Yes, this is.
600 pages long.
You got one more before
No,
that.
no, there's one more before
Yeah.
that. One more before that.
Yeah, that one's quick, yeah.
Item L
Yes.
is a
Only 40
request from Greater Fall River Recreation, the use of Kennedy Park, Park Drive, and, well, actually the whole park for the staging of the annual
I make a
Children's
motion.
Holiday Parade on December 4th,
I just have one request
2021.
to go along with that. I don't know if Santa Claus is arriving in a helicopter this year.
No,
Good, because, my request was gonna be that they don't land
no.
in the Little League field.
No, the helicopter practice of bringing Santa coming in the helicopter has been discontinued.
Did Santa get a
Santa and
bonus?
Mrs. Claus felt, they had enough of the helicopter experience and they wanted to stay on the ground. So we've accommodated them for that. I don't want coal in my stocking, I don't know about you, but
I think.
I suggest you approve this request. Just saying.
I think Mr. Perry is gonna be bringing them in that silver shiny.
I'm
sled
not
that he
against the
owns.
request, I just was wondering about the helicopter.
No, not anymore,
Mr. Morano.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion to Commissioner Farias, seconded by Commissioner Sylvia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item M,
This is super
I know
quick,
this is
right?
only, when Mr. Pirano sent this is only for us to do some homework on it and just review it, because it's just, he'll explain. It's Oak Grove Cemetery draft submission
Looks nice.
for the Obelisk work cemetery expansion project, and the Obelisk is not coming until next spring anyway, so.
Well,
we
we do have to get the engraving
Well,
approved, even though they're coming in the spring, because the engraving is going to be done on site.
Yep.
And they do need this turned around pretty quick, actually. So
Okay, we need to
we
do
don't
this
have a
today.
whole lot of time to deliberate on this, unfortunately. But just to quickly go over it, we have 3 plazas that are going in, for the lack of a better term, that will each have 2 obelisks. So 6 obelisks in total, and each of the plazas is going to be themed in a certain way. So the first plaza will be a community service, government, and labor public works monument that dedicates to people who have worked in those fields, as well as a monument to first responders. The second plaza will be military service, both the National Guard and Armed Forces. The third plaza will be a monument, or two monuments, to teaching arts and performers, as well as entrepreneurs, science, and engineering. In working with our architect, we've tried to develop quotes that go on the sides of the monuments there from people who are actually interred at Oak Grove Cemetery. So we came up with quotes from Louis McHenry Howe, Louis Latimer, Cornelia Otis, I'm forgetting her last name, Skinner, who was an actress who's buried at Oak Grove. So we're trying to tie the local history. If they're not buried in Oak Grove, at least some ties either to Fall River or Massachusetts. So if that's acceptable, the architect will move forward with some more prominent line drawings for the appropriate engraving to be done. So we need approval on at least that concept and approval on the typeface, which is the last grouping of sheets. I think in my personal opinion, not that it holds any weight here, is that we go with either the Castiller or the Engravers, which is all capital. It's pretty easy to read versus the script writing and the Old English. It'd be pretty easy to read and be easy to read even into the future. I don't know if there's any specific questions or feedback on any of the individual monuments. We would get the badge art from the fire department and the police department as part of the badges to be engraved for the first responders.
Is this something that, this font, like the Casteller, for instance, is this something that would be, like, I know whenever you guys do anything in the city, it's like, oh, we use a specific bench. Like, is there specific fonts that people usually use that we should be following, or are we kind of setting the precedent with?
Yeah, I don't think we have a specific font. That would be something you could decide on. Benches, yeah, one thing.
Yeah.
But I think, whatever we go with, it should be similar to what we have. So we're gonna have the granite element, it's the granite city. We have a lot of granite in this area. So depending on that, you look at the stone. You want shiny,
Yep.
You want more of that to match that Olmsted kind of, even though it's not an Olmsted Park, it's laid out like that. You want it to kind of match the rest of the cemetery.
I just don't want any citizens input complaining about that.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
So these are the different types of wording we're talking?
Yeah, those are the different fonts. General feedback, I think Times New Roman is very generic. That's kind of the most popular typeface. And then the script writing, the Lucida and the Old English. The Old English is cool, but it's tougher to read, and being engraved doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay as sharp as the day it's engraved, so there might be some issues when it starts to fade.
Personally, I like the Lucida. That's just my personal opinion. Not sure what you like.
I'm preferential to the Castiller or the Engravers. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Well, that's what I was looking at, the Lucida and the Engravers. My thing is how we're saying that we're trying to keep it looking like the older style of the cemetery. I would like to try to keep the wording to like represent that it's still like historic, even though it's new. So one of these two I think would look good. Yeah.
Which two? I'm sorry.
The Lucida or the Engravers. It'd be eligible to read in that, other than the Old English, but it still kind of looks like it would be like dated.
I feel like the Engravers looks exactly the same as the Casteller, but it's just, Casteller's like kind of spaced out more.
Yeah, you've got a little bit more
It's easier to read than
negative
the,
space between the characters.
Which one's that?
This one.
I don't think I have that one. Give me a second.
So there's, in the back here, there is a stone with some engraving. I would say most monuments are going to have kind of a catwalk look to the engraving versus a lowercase. So that might be something to consider.
And I know, did you say are we gonna have benches here?
There are 4 benches going in.
But they're nothing like we have in, okay, when Commissioner Burns had said about parks and that.
They're gonna be granite benches.
Granite, yeah, I was gonna say.
That match.
We're not gonna have like the.
No, not
I can't recall, but they either match the niche units that are going in, or they match the obelisks.
Is there room, are we doing anything with them benches? Is there room like for engraving, family members?
So we're not engraving anything right now, but if the board would like to entertain them being sponsored in a way, a donation made to engrave.
And how about, is there any, like, at the Pats, like, how they do, like, the veteran monuments, any, like, room for, like, bricks and that we can sell for, like,
it's slated for concrete.
It's slated for concrete. We don't have anything like that right now. But again, as Mr. Perano said, if that's something the board wanted to entertain later, once the project is complete, I think at this point, trying to add elements is just kind of muddy the waters. But that's, if we look at the project as a whole when it's complete, and there are elements or things that the board members might say, oh, hey, you know what would look nice? This. Then I think we can have those conversations at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. I vote Castellera.
Yeah, I just noticed that one, I like that one.
Castellera.
Does everybody agree for Castellara?
I'm sorry, Mr. Perry.
No, I'm good. Trust me. I don't listen. If it goes south, I don't want to be the one to blame anyway.
First, wait a minute. We're talking a lot about veterans and everything else. Why don't we ask our actual veteran that's on the board, what does he feel?
I feel this is great.
There you go.
All right.
This
We
will
don't
look
want to
real nice.
disrespect our
No,
veterans.
no. This
public
is
service workers.
actually beautiful.
All right, make a motion. We approve and go with
Castellera.
Castellera.
Good, close enough.
That one.
Close enough. That one.
There's a teller there, right? There you go.
Patty, you want the correct spelling?
She's a superstar over here.
Can you say it? You probably say it better than we can, right? Castellera. See?
Castellara. See, there we go. See, we're way off.
Patty, knowing Patty,
She's
she's
just
probably
sitting
wanted
here
to correct a
just
few
judging
things
us this
tonight
whole
while we were
time.
Castellara.
Wait, somebody gonna second that?
Second it.
Everybody's getting excited.
Commissioner Burns made the motion, Commissioner Farry seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, aye.
What do we got here?
All right, Commissioner inquiries.
What do we got?
Open, nobody?
Not this time.
Commissioner Sylvia, anything?
Not this time.
That's a first.
This was the lady that we approved for the rocks.
Yeah.
That's just hers, that's her business. She put that on first. The rock garden. I think the only inquiries we had was, like I explained, the youth soccer league and four of soccer club. The youth soccer doesn't have a conflict with them using that field for a game on November 7th, so I had told, they needed to get permission to, if we were fine with it, I told them that I don't think it would be a problem as long as the league worked it out. They both have permits there to use the field and that, so they just needed to let, umpires know and everything, so they needed to let the Massachusetts league, whatever that they're from, know ahead of time if there was gonna be a problem. I told them I don't think it was gonna be a problem, so we gave them approval for that, as long as they worked it all out amongst themselves.
Mr. Perry, I just thought of something.
Yes.
Even though I just said I wasn't gonna say anything.
Sure.
The soccer tournament at Britland.
Yes.
When you contact her, can you ask for a date? Because I'm assuming that's gonna run into some sort of league at some point. So
Yeah.
if they have a hard date, then we can just let all leagues know that that date is unavailable.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's all I got.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Before you make that a motion to adjourn, Commissioner, I just want to say, public, that this last windstorm, we had a lot of trees that came down in the city, over 90, I believe it was, across the city. 2 big ones in Kennedy itself, the top of Kennedy. You'll see they're going to get to it is when they try to get the best they could until they get, but it looks like a totem pole right now in the middle of the park. But the other one did take out was down on Beach and Middle. It's right near our inclusion playground. It did take out a light pole that feeds the electricity there. So I told Mr. Perry that make sure the electric was shut down. I wouldn't want our guys or the tree guys getting hurt in that, and no, or even the residents, anybody. It is the time of the year that dawn, it's starting to get dark at 4 o'clock and that, so obviously nobody should be in a playground at 4 o'clock and after 4 in the darkness. So once we do get the, everything cleared up and that, they will work on it to get that power back turned on for them lights to get that playground lit back up. I just want to say it was a team effort. I know they don't get a lot of recognition all the time, but I want to thank Mr. Perry, Ms. Smith, Mr. Pirano, the tree department, all the laborers in the park department, cemetery department, and even DCM. It was all hands on deck that were clearing these trees, and they also brought in Northeast Tree Services. So thank you guys for everything, because they might wear suits here sometimes, but they're both out there in the middle of the night working.
I'm sure Mr. Pirano was happy not to hear from me that day because I was on the day off.
I also want to thank Mr. Perry for a job well done on the monument on Brayton Avenue. Thank you very much for doing that for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
One more thing is, I know we had mentioned it before, that we're gonna come up with certificates that we're coming up, we approved it last meet, to honor different people in that. I suggest that one of our first recipients is our park and cemetery workers to get honored by our park board, amongst all the stuff that they do. I know there was supposed to be certificates given out to them for helping out with the Vietnam Wall. I guess that fell through, so I would like to have our workers honored by this park board in the future.
Okay.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Burns made the motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? Commissioner Farris seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.